And let's lay down flat onto our backs, opposite direction of how you would normally do Shavasana. So the head will be at the top of your mat. Once you come to the top of the mat, take a moment here to hug your knees into the chest and rock your spine left to right. And then release your bind. Just start to move your arms and your legs in really interesting ways. I describe it like a little baby in a crib, just trying to reach for a carousel above. And then whatever movements you took, start to move it opposite direction. Just move it opposite direction. And then lay yourselves completely onto the floor so that our first pose is going to be our starfish. So separate the hips nice and wide outside of the mat. If you have the space, take the arms up and over the ears. Think of the letter Y here. And then close the eyes and pay attention to the breath. Giving everybody the opportunity to settle in and feel that breath enter and leave your body. Feel the details of this breath. As you inhale, that belly rises, and notice the pause. And on the exhale, the belly deflates, and notice the pause. And so throughout the practice, really just check in with this breath. Your breath will let you know whether the pose is going a little too far, if you can make some modifications. So we want this breath to be super relaxed, just as it is right here. I'd like to direct your attention now to a body scan. Let's start with the right side of your body, starting from the toes. Just checking in and saying hello, checking with your foot, checking in with the ankle, and drawing that focus up towards the leg, towards the knee, and towards the right hip. Taking that scan over to the left side, check in with the left hip, check in with the thighs, check in with the knee, and check in with the ankles, and checking in with the toes. Redirecting that scan, bring that scan back up towards the hips here, just checking in. How are your hips? How are the glutes today? Take a mental note, moving that energy up towards the belly, your abs, your ribs, your chest. Let's take that scan over to the right side, to the right shoulder. Check in with your triceps, your biceps. Checking in with the elbow, the forearm, your wrist, your hands and your fingers. And taking that scan all the way up towards the shoulder again. As you cross the collarbone, say hello to your left shoulder, your left tricep and bicep, your elbow, the forearm, the wrists, the fingers. Moving the scan along, bringing the scan up towards the web of your chest. As that scan comes up towards the neck, towards the throat. The scan towards the jawline. Take a moment to maybe just move the jaw around and then soften the face. Taking that scan to the eyebrows. Can you soften your worried eyebrows and just soften here, soften the forehead, and soften the crown. Notice again the breath. Next focus I'd like everyone to invite you to is around your heart. What is your current feeling at this moment? What did you bring with you to the mat? It could be super wonderful. It could be super not so wonderful, but no labels and no judgment, just awareness of this is where my heart is at in this moment. And then go back and feel that breath enter and leave your body. And I'd like to set our direction over to our mind space. What's been hanging over your head? What are your thoughts coming through? Again, just noticing, being a witness without any judgment, without any labels. Welcome these thoughts. They'll come and go throughout your practice. But if you feel, and when that time comes where it's just kind of shuffling through your mind, go back inside, feel your body, feel your heart. And most important, feel that breath. We're going to slowly come out of this shape. I invite you to keep your eyes closed if you wish, or open up the eyes. We're going to transition to our next pose. Bring the legs towards one another so we can roll ourselves over towards our belly this time. Next pose is going to be Sphinx pose. So as you make your way onto your bellies, we're going to stack the shoulders over the elbows and spread the fingers wide. Take an opportunity here now. So with this back bend, spread the hips super wide to create some space. And then start to add that back bend. So as you start to lift up at the chest, the throat, the chin, from a 0 level of feeling nothing to 10 feeling too much, go for level 3. And that is the ask. And once you go towards that level 3, close the eyes and then do that scan all over again. Know that we're going to be here for longer than 1 minute. So if you need to adjust this, if you need to soften this, by all means, I invite you to enjoy your practice. If your body is craving movement with your eyes closed, use your eyeballs to just kind of roll them up and roll them down. This subtle movement will satiate that yearning for mobility. And we're slowly coming out of this shape. Feel free to blink your eyes open or keep the eyes closed. Melt your heart and your chest back down onto the floor. Extend your arms apart into a letter T. Drawing the legs together, we bend at the knees, windshield wiper, the hips, the legs side to side. And here's the movement you might be itching for, just a little bit of shake left and right. Bringing your legs back down onto the floor, we're going to introduce our new shape, which is the water bug, which I featured onto the picture. So starting onto the left side, let's bend your left knee. Bring that left knee over outside of your mat so you can use that towel or a blanket to rest the bones. Once you get adjusted with the legs, then the option is to add the curl of the spine. So some of us will have that sticky mat. You may have to pick up your chest off the floor so that you can take and turn sideways over to the left side. As you turn your spine over to the left side, bring that left elbow towards the left thigh. I got you, Stacie. There you go. Yep. So just try to draw the elbow towards the thigh. So as you curl your spine, let your head rest onto the floor. It might be comfortable to put the right ear to the ground, and then follow with your right arm up and over as well, and bring that right arm over to the left. There you go, Stacie. Oh, just over the head, Stacie. Over the head. Yes, yes. And so the idea is to bring that shoulder above. There you go. And then we go back inside. Feel free to do your body scan. Specifically, check on those joints. Check on the knee. Check on the hip. And check on the left side as well. The beautiful part about this yoga practice is there is intention for us to have those connective tissues to help find the original range of motion for your joints, and if not, improve it as well. And slowly coming out of this shape, let's straighten ourselves back towards the center of the mat. Straighten out the legs. Feel free to have that little windshield wiper effect take place again, picking up the legs as your knees bend, just windshield wiper side to side. And we're going to prep ourselves over for the water bug onto the right side. So as you rest your legs back down onto the floor, we now bend at the right knee. Taking that blanket, towel for support, go ahead and stack your knee over the blanket. Nice. And the same thing that we're doing is we're going to start to curl that spine. So if you need to, pick your chest up off your sticky mat so that you can bring now your bent elbow towards your thigh. Letting the side of your head rest onto the floor. And closing the eyes. And going back inside. And slowly coming out of this pose as well. Feel free to keep your eyes closed as we straighten ourselves back onto our mats. Let's go ahead and windshield wiper again those hips. As you bend at the knees, swish your legs to left or right. And then using your palms, your fingers, go ahead and press yourself back into child's pose. Take a moment to reset here. If child's pose bothers you in any way, feel free to come to a seated position instead. We're not staying long here at all, but I wanted to use this pose to check in with the belly. Can we let that belly relaxed? Can you let your breath go back and relaxing? And next thing we're going to come up to is our tabletop pose. So again, maybe you just keep your eyes closed as you propriocept, stack your shoulders over the wrist and stack your hips over the knees. I know some of us are itching for a little bit of flow, so we're going to do cat-cow. So on the next inhale, go ahead and lift the tailbone, the chest, chin as you look up. And on the exhale, tuck in the tailbone, the belly, chest, and chin. Good. Inhale again. Draw it all in. Open, open, open. And exhale. Expel all that air out. If you haven't closed your eyes, but roll your eyeballs as you curl up the spine. Look up towards your forehead. Beautiful. And as you exhale, go the opposite direction. Curl now the eyeballs to look down towards your chin. Beautiful. Inhale again. Let's scoop it up. And on the exhale, scoop it back in. Finding yourself back into your tabletop pose. We're going to take that right leg and step that right foot outside of your right palm for our next pose, which is dragon, which might be referred to as lizard. So again, the attention here is different. Tucking the toes from behind you, go ahead and extend your left leg further back to really open up that left hip. Nice. Now, I wouldn't be mad if some of y'all want some energetic practices, meaning keep that left knee lifted. Otherwise, rest your knee onto the floor. If you need to, double pad your mat or use a towel or a blanket. Now, feel free to stay upright here or start to come down onto your elbows. And if you come down onto the elbows, if you're not quite there reaching the floor, use a bolster, use blocks to bring the floor closer to you. Know that we're going to be here for longer than 1 minute. Close the eyes, go back inside. This is a great opportunity to check in again with the insides. Starting off with your right side, how is that ankle? How is that knee? How is the hip? Move that focus over to the opposite side. How is that left hip? The left knee, the left ankle. Sending that energy up towards the torso. Are you relaxing at the belly? Are you relaxing your shoulders, your wrists, your hands? Are you relaxing your breath? Doing another check-in. What has the mood? How's the mood now? What is going on around the heart? You feel any differently? Feel the same? And just checking in. Notice now what thoughts are coming through your mind. And go back to feeling that breath enter and leave your body. Slowly coming out of this, using your fingers, your palms. Go ahead and start to lift your torso upright position. So in my practice, I like to take my right foot and kind of drive it maybe a couple inches more towards the top to really get the hip opening here. And as you do this, Stacie, try to bring your right foot closer towards your right fingertips. So kind of bring that foot. Yes, there we go. Now pause here. And now everybody, if you're comfortable with it, start to roll to the outside of that right foot and really open at that hip a little extra. So as you roll to the outside of that right foot, you can take your right fingertips and literally wrap them around the inner thighs and give it a rolling effect. So fingers around your thigh, the right thigh, the thumb to the inside. Now place it to the inside and then roll it. Like you're grabbing hold of a bowl. Treat your thigh as a bowl. It's okay, Stacie. Take your left palm and place it behind you. Maybe Stacie wants to take a bind. You could always bend your left knee to add a nice quad stretch. So you bend your left knee, take your right arm and bring it all the way behind you. There you go, Stacie. Stacie likes that. Good. You could also bring your left forearm down to the floor if you want a little extra. So again, this is not really about what's more, what's less. It's really about like playing and see where you can get comfortable to stay in stillness. Once you find your jam, your go-to pose, your go-to shape, close the eyes and start to feel all the little things that's happening. That quad stretch, that twist, that deep hip opening. Can you soften your breath while all this activity is taking place on the inside? And slowly coming out of this shape, release the bind if you took it. Using your palms for support, we're going to start to drive your right foot towards the left so we can go to our next pose, which is our half swan, which also may be looking like pigeon. So as you draw that right leg across, melt your hips behind your right leg. This is a great opportunity now to take a bolster, thick pillow, and place that in front of you. And the idea now is to either keep your torso upright or start to literally melt your chest forward so that you can now look for a moment. So Stacie, turn your stuff long ways. Yes, there you go. So that your whole torso can land right there. I am so with you at this. Thank you for allowing me to guide you. And turning the head, yep, left or right, wherever you feel most comfortable for the neck. This is a great space, great pose to look for the moment. It's really letting go here. And slowly coming away from this pose. Feel free to blink your eyes open or not. I see all three of us are laying down. Use your fingers, your palms to lift the torso up and off the floor. We're going to migrate that left leg to come across. So lean your body weight to the right thigh. Take that left leg as you swing it towards the front. We're going to set up for a seated twist. So move your bolsters, your pillows to the side. Set up for a conventional seated twist so that the right thigh or the right foot inside the left thigh, bending at the left knee, stack your left leg on the top. So opposite side, there we go. And we're gonna come to a seated twist. So bring that left leg across the right. Perfect. Okay, so Lily, yeah, you're gonna bring that left leg across over the right leg for a seated twist. Correct. Thank you. There we go. So everybody find your variation of this seated twist. I'm going to give you options. If you want more of an energetic practice, feel free to press your tricep against your thigh against your tricep. And if you're going in that direction, you engage the belly to lengthen the spine. If you really want to get into the yin practice, you soften the belly and soften the breath. Soften your muscles. No pushing, no pressure. Breathe. And we start coming away from this twist. As you bring your torso to face forward, go ahead and release that left leg forward. Now with your right knee bent, lean your body weight to the left thigh so you can bring your right leg outside of your right thigh. And this is where that half saddle comes in. There we go, Stacie. Okay, good. So Aaron, take that right foot, bring it outside of the right thigh, if that's an option for you. Okay, so first check is the knees. How is your left knee? Or right knee, rather, right knee. So check with the right knee. You can always adjust the knee to bring them closer together, or you separate the knees. So once you get comfortable, like, okay, the knee's good just where it's at, take now your fingers, use them for support behind the glutes, and start to lean back. Maybe this is going to be your go posture today. If you feel like I can go a little bit further down, feel free to come down onto your elbows. An option to use a bolster to lay flat onto the floor or stay up onto the elbows. Maybe start to release your arms flat to the floor if you have the space and lay flat all the way down to the ground. Totally your call. How you holding up over there, Stacie? If you have those bolsters, pillows, please use them because we want to go find that moment again. You look so super relaxed. Lily's been practicing with me for about 4 months now, and so Lily's find a way to just go into her sweet spot. How you holding up, Aaron? You good? Good. And let go. Stacie, open your arms for me. Release your arms. Maybe capital T them away. There you go. Yes. Really, really just open, open, open. Relax and melt. Just go inside and feel again everything that's happening from the inside. Go back to the breath. And slowly coming out of this. Listen up, my peoples. Please be super mindful. As you use your fingers, palms for support, roll your torso to the left side first. As you lift the torso, then bring yourselves back to the left and then back to center. Let's take that right leg, straighten it out, bring the leg in front of you. And then with your knees bent, windshield wiper the leg side to side. Fantastic. However way y'all gonna make your way back towards child's pose. I suggest side saddle, bringing the legs to the side so you can come up onto the knees and then roll back into child's. Again, if child's pose bothers you by any means, please feel free to come to a seated position. And let's just use this to reset. And when it was reset, can we release and relax the belly? Now do me a favor, perhaps separate your legs a little bit wider apart. So instead of trying to big toes to touch, this time try to separate the legs. Maybe the heels face each other a little bit more. Good. Something different to experience at your child's. Let's not get too comfortable. We have to do our left side. So continuing on with your eyes closed or not, come up onto your tabletop pose. My shoulders over the wrists and the hips over the knees. Let's add some mobility here. Inhaling again into your cow pose. Lift the tailbone, the chest, chin. And on the exhale, let's tuck in the tailbone, the belly, chest, chin. Good. Let's inhale again. Release, open and lift. And let's add the toes as you exhale. Tuck your toes as well. Press your toes down to the floor. Arch the spine. Good. Release the toes. Press your ankles towards the floor. Inhale, scoop it up. Good. And exhale, opposite direction, tucking the toes. One more, everyone. If you haven't closed your eyes, close them and use the eyeballs to roll up. And on the exhale, use the eyeballs to roll it down. Good. Releasing the toes, let's find your tabletop pose again. We're gonna take now that left foot and step that left foot outside of the left palm so we can set up for our dragon pose, which may look like lizard. So as you stack your foot back down onto the ground, go ahead and tuck your right toes to extend that right leg even further out. Again, option to keep that knee lifted if you want. Back to our yin, releasing that knee to the floor to soften. Option to keep yourself upright here with the torso, or you bend at the elbows to bring your torso closer to the floor. That might mean using a couple of blocks to bring the floor closer to you, or directly bring the forearms to the floor. Wherever you decide to go, we go, close the eyes. Feel free to do that body scan, starting onto the left side. Specifically, check in with the joints. And once you've scanned over to the left, move the scan over to the right side. And continuing with that scan, feel free to check in also with the softness of your belly, the softness of your forehead, the relaxed arms, relaxed wrists, relaxed hands, and go back, feel that relaxed breath. We're going to slowly come out of this shape. Blink the eyes open if you wish, using the palms to fingers to lift the torso back to an upright position. So option to take your left foot even further forward if you wish, but at the end of the day, we want to bring you to the outside of that left foot. So just externally rotate that left hip. take your left fingertips, like your thumb to the inside of the thigh, the four fingers outside the thigh, and roll it out. Or, if you'd like, take that bind like you did onto the other side. There you go, Stacie. Roll that left shoulder back to grab a hold of the foot. The other option is to release that right elbow back down to the floor, come down to the forearm, or combine reclining torso with your bind. I welcome you to shift and change these shapes throughout the stillness. Most important is you go back into the breath once you find a little bit of peace and quiet in the pose that you've chosen. Got about 20 more seconds here. And slowly coming out of this pose, starting to bring yourself to an upright position. Now we're going to add or switch this up and bring this into our half swan. So taking that bent left knee, draw that left leg across to the right. And as you rest your shin to the floor, melt your hips behind your left leg. So options here, again, I would suggest if you do have the bolsters, you do have those pillows, lay them right in front of you. The goal is to find that moment in this pose. In my very first Yin Yoga practice, when I fell in love with Yin, the words that came out of my mouth to describe this practice, like, I feel like melted cheese. I don't know why food always comes to mind when I find yummy, yummy yoga, but find yourself melting at this point. Let it go. Relax. Scooping ourselves away from this pose. Again, blinking the eyes open if you wish, or keep them closed. We're going to set this up towards a seated twist. So lean your body weight towards the left thigh this time, making room for that right leg to come towards the front and all the way across the left thigh. So make any adjustments here. Set up your props to the side. So the right knee is now on top. And taking that twist over towards the right side, using that left arm to basically lock over towards the right thigh. If you want an energetic practice, again, maybe you just pump your thigh, your arm against the thigh, and you pump that thigh against the arm. Closing the eyes and checking in on the inside. That might be a good opportunity to just kind of check in. What is going on around the heart center? What is the mood and the feeling? Has it shifted? Is it the same from what we started? And either way, just to observe and notice the thoughts. If they've slowed down a bit, go back to the breath. About 20 more seconds. And slowly coming out of this shape. As we untwist, straighten out the right leg in front of you. As you straighten out that right knee, take now your bent left knee, stack your left foot down to the floor, but keep the knee bent, and then take that left shin and bring it to the outside of the left thigh. Roll over to the right side to make this accessible. And as you land your left leg, left knee back down, do a check. Does it feel better, smarter for my knees to be apart, or my knees to be somewhat closer together? We know that we're going to recline here, so get your blocks, your pillows ready to land on behind you. And then start with your fingers, your palms, as you lean your torso backwards. And if you're feeling the magic here, then come all the way down onto your elbows first. And once your elbows connect, then go ahead and splat onto those bolsters, those pillows. Adjust, settle in, arrange your arms so that you can really be open in this pose. And if you haven't done so already, close the eyes and simply go towards the ah. Safely and slowly, we come out of this pose. Blinking the eyes open as an option. As you press onto your fingers' palms, lift the torso towards the right side of your body first. And as you start to make your way towards the hips, then go ahead and roll yourselves back up to center. Straightening out that left knee, bring the left leg in front of you, bending at the knees, perhaps you windshield wiper the leg side to side. And we're gonna work our way back to our spine again. So roll back, flat back onto your mats and revisit our starfish pose. So again, this is a nice opportunity to just reset. Spread the hips, the legs wider, arms are up and over the ears. We're gonna be here for about a minute to just let your body reconfigure, reset, reboot. Check in with the breath, check in with the body, the heart, the mind. And slowly coming away from this shape, feel free to keep the eyes closed. Let's bring the legs towards one another again. Next pose we're going to do is our cat tail. So for cat tail, we're going to roll over to the left side of our body. So think side plank, but you're still grounding onto the floor. So as you stack your legs, your hips on top of each other, take your left palm just to cradle the side of your head here. I like to use the cue like we're at the beach and we're just kind of waving your friends to come join you. So as soon as you let your sides rest, we're going to bend your right knee and place your right knee over a bolster or a blanket so that your joints are rested softly onto the floor. So once you have this letter L shape with the legs, the next option is to bend at the left knee. Use your right palm to grab a hold of your left foot. There we go, Stacie. Good. You could grab onto the arch of your foot or grab the ankle or grab the shin. Next thing, if you take in the bind, the option now is to really roll over to the right side to open your chest towards the ceiling. Maybe it'll come in super handy. So Stacie, grab a hold of the inside of your foot. There you go. There you go. And then so that gives you space, yep, right there, to open up the chest. And then if you have a block, Stacie, maybe lay down on a block, or maybe your head can just rest onto the floor. And again, just know that you'll be here for over a minute, so it's really ideal that you find that sweet spot where you can just melt your bodies down to the floor. If you want more, feel free now to take that left palm to grab a hold of that right thigh and bring that thigh higher. And as if this isn't enough, you could also lengthen to the hamstring by straightening out the right knee to see if you want that extra detail. This is obviously like one of my favorite poses, and that's why I show it off in the beginning of class. Very interesting shape. Really immerse yourself at this point. We've opened up our joints, our bodies to come to this moment. Embrace this with grace and just let that relaxed breath enter and leave your body. And slowly coming out of this shape. If you've taken the bind, release the bind, roll back over to the left side of your body. So you stack your hips, your legs. And as you bring everything back to neutral, then lay yourselves back down onto the floor. Find your starfish again, using starfish to reset, reconfigure, relax the spine. It's going to be here for about a minute. And slowly coming out of this, feel free to keep your eyes closed. We're going to roll ourselves over this time to the right side to do our cattail. So again, just like we do our side plank, we're going to stack your legs, hips on top of each other, but we're actually laying onto the floor. Using now your right palm, go ahead and cradle that right to the side of the head here. And then bending at the left knee this time, bring that knee right on top of a blanket or a towel to soften the landing onto the floor. And once your knee is comfortable, then you can add bending now the other leg, bending at the right knee. Use your left palm to grab hold of the arch or your ankle or your shin. And once you've taken that bind, then this rolling effect, roll your chest, your heart open towards the sky. And then maybe that block will come in handy so that your head will come closer towards the floor. And if you want more activity for your left hand, grab hold of the right thigh, or rather right hand, left thigh to bring that left thigh higher. And then if you want, you can straighten out the left knee as well. If you want lengthening the hamstring, shortening of the quads. Once you find your ideal shape, close the eyes. And feel free to just check in. Again, there's a lot going on here. For any reason you're feeling any kind of discomfort, please let that discomfort go. Make the changes. Forget about the bind. Forget about the lengthening. What is your version of cattail today? And slowly coming out of this, restack yourselves over to the right side first, just where it all began. And then roll yourselves back onto your backs, onto your spine. Find now your happy baby. Different variations here. Feel free to grab hold of the insides or outsides of your feet. If you feel like moving left to right, keeping the sacrum in your shoulders to protect the spine before you rock to the left, to the right. Also, last call for hip opening here is very welcome if you want to grab hold of the big toes as you straighten out one knee at a time. And if you're feeling the magic, maybe both knees will remain straightened as you point your toes towards the floor. And then just like we started class, release the grip of your feet, your toes, and just start to move your arms, your legs in a very interesting ways, just like we did like that baby in the crib. And start to move in opposite direction. And then voila, student's choice, your final resting pose. Maybe that's going to be Supta Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet together. Maybe it's Ardha Shavasana with the knees bent and your feet flat to the floor to connect your low spine to the ground. Maybe you're ready for final Shavasana and just releasing your legs completely to the ground. We're going to be here for a good 3 minutes. Soften the breath. Soften your jaw. Soften your brows. Relax. Slowly coming away from this pose, adding a little bit of movement again with wiggling the fingers and your toes. If you have the Supta Baddha Konasana, yes, please protect those hips. Grab a hold of your thighs and draw the knees together. As you wiggle your toes, your fingers, maybe you circle through the wrists, your elbows, your feet, your ankles, and start to move them about the opposite direction. In the next 3 breaths, with keeping the eyes closed, please make your way up into a comfortable seated position. And in ending our class today, I'd like to recite a mantra, and I encourage you to please repeat these words after me, placing both palms over the heart with eyes closed and chin tucked. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy. May I be peaceful and at ease. May all beings be safe. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful and at ease. Placing palms to your prayer, and connect the palms over towards the heart. On behalf of the team and to my 3 guests today, thank you so much for allowing us to share this practice with you. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. Namaste. Namaste.